Hey Ed, how are you today, man? Thanks for taking the time.
Of course, I'm doing good.
Good to hear. Well, it was a big episode for you on Wednesday on the challenge. So I kind of want to start from the top here, Ed. You know, when you walked on to I think it was episode 2 when you came in, and it was like out of nowhere, it was like, oh wow, that's Ed from the Circle. Was not expecting that. How did you get into the challenge universe?
I know, it was kind of crazy actually. So after I got done with the circle, there were so many people that said, Ed, you did good on the circle, but you got to apply for the challenge. Like, you would do great. That's more your show. Like, the challenge is so you. And I had never watched it before, but I knew it was like physical competitions. And I'm like, yeah. Like, maybe I'll reach out to them. I'll see, I'll try to apply for it. And then a couple weeks later, the challenge actually reached out to me. And they're like, hey, we think you might be a good fit for this show. Like, you want to apply for it? Like, here's an application. And I'm like, look at this. This is destiny right here happening. So I guess it was like meant to be. So I actually got accepted to the challenge, and then it turns out I was an alternate. And I was pissed because I was like, oh, man, I came all the way up to Croatia, and now I'm not even going to get on the show. I mean, that's a common thing, I guess, that I have. I like to come on the shows late. So, like, the circle, I was the last one to come on to the circle for the challenge. Didn't start episode 1. I come in late. I mean, seems like a common theme that I got going on. But
Now, did you do some homework when they're like, "Hey, why don't you apply for it?" Or maybe when your friends were telling you about the challenge, did you do any sort of homework?
I watched one episode, which definitely was not enough. I should have watched more because I was not prepared at all. I was expecting it to be mostly just physical competition, and then I got in there, and it was much more than that. There was a whole lot of political, mischievous, backstabbing going on, and I was like, wow, okay, this is more than I was ready for.
I mean, what episode did you watch? Was it stacked up now? Do you think it was a good episode to watch? Like who was on it? What did you learn?
It was actually an episode from the previous season in Iceland when they are doing, it's a helicopter mission where they have to get picked up from a helicopter on a boat and then drop off and swim to like a platform. And I was like, wow, this seems pretty cool. This is like an action movie. So, that was the only one I had seen. And I wish I would have watched more because I think it would have definitely helped. Just getting a feel for at least who the vets are, because I really didn't know anybody walking in there. I could have at least had done my homework and knew how they were on past seasons and how they typically interact with each other or with new rookies coming on. That would have helped greatly, and I think I would have not been so nice. Because I think my whole nice guy thing that I had going was just, it's definitely me, it's who I am, but it's not good for the challenge. Like, you gotta be sneaky and ruthless if you're gonna make it far on this, and I had no idea.
Okay, so let's head into the episode. And now I'm sure you've been asked this many times. You'll be asked it many times after. Do you regret your decision to volunteer yourself over Logan?
Um, in some ways, yes, in some ways, no. I think part of it, I just wish I wasn't so kind of new and naive. Um, sometimes it's okay to actually play the background maybe and not speak up, and maybe somebody else will get a target on their back somehow, some way that could save me from going into elimination. But I think it was also, in a way, a good move, where it really got to show people kind of who I am and like my character, what I stand for. Like, I had built a good friendship with Logan, and he did save me in one of them previous challenges. We had that agreement. He didn't throw me in. So I felt like I kind of owed him something there where, he did me a solid. So I was like, all right, now's the time, especially now that he's injured. Like, you don't want to kind of throw him to the wolves when he's already down. So I was like, now would be a perfect time to step up, repay him. I thought it would be like a cool, badass move, too, to be like a rookie and just be like, let me step up, let me take this one. Like, let me be the hero here. But everyone was like, oh, yeah, Ed, that was a good move. And then, behind the scenes, now I realize that it probably wasn't. They're like, Ed, you're so stupid. Why would you throw yourself in there? But, I guess for a rookie season, you got to do something a little crazy. And I guess that was my little moment to do something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, high risk, high reward, right? Because if you do throw yourself in and you take out Kyle and pole wrestling, I mean, like that looks pretty good, man. That's a good 20 minutes of TV there.
I know. I wish we had a different outcome. Oh, man, I'm pissed.
So, now that you're kind of saying that, if you do return to the challenge, maybe you won't be as nice next time around. So, do you think you would still have made the same decision with Logan, say if this was your second season?
Oh, yeah. No, I think they definitely would have been different because now I know, you can build friendships on the show. You can be friends outside of the show, and like everything can be cool. But when you're in there, you gotta flip a switch and not play heartless. I want to say, but like at the end of the day, like this is for $1 million. Like it's not for like making good like friendships during the show. Like. This is a game, like it's a not like life or death scenario, but I mean, you just got to be able to flip that switch, and that's how a lot of the vets do it. They're obviously friends outside of the show, and they have great relationships. But once you're in there, it's a whole different world, and it's kind of like anything can happen, and you can't really blame people for doing anything because it is a game. Everybody's trying to do what's best for them. So I think if it was my second, season, I definitely would have done it different. I would not have volunteered and threw myself in like that.
All right, so let's talk about this elimination now, Ed. Were you truly undecided? Like when TJ called you down, were you actually undecided on who you wanted to pick? And also, why did you pick Kyle over Corey Nelson, CT?
Yeah, so, in that moment, I was really it was a toss-up. I had no idea who I was going to pick. I guess me being, just good guy too, I'm like, oh, nobody from my team, like, I'm not going to pick you guys. Looking back, probably would have been smart. Again, we didn't know the rules, though. So, like, if I had picked Nelson, like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, was I just destroying my team? Like, what was going to happen at that point? So, we didn't know until, I guess we did see the episode earlier with Priscilla, but I thought that would have looked bad if I, started self-destructing my team. I didn't know how people would view that. It probably would have been the smarter move, though, to go after somebody on my team, like a Nelson, for example. But, the thing is, too, we didn't know what we were getting into in that layer. I know that during the episode, they flashed the pole for a quick second, so it's a pole wrestle. But when we walked down there, there was nothing in the sand. It was an empty layer, and I'm like, DJ, usually something's here, set up. We can kind of guess what the game is. Do we get to find out before I pick somebody? And he's like, nope, you just got to pick somebody. I'm like, damn, like I don't even know what the game is. Like it could bite me in the ass. Like if I pick Corey or if I pick Kyle, I'm like. It was literally just a split moment decision where I was like, all right, Kyle. And then turns out it was a pole wrestle, so that was no good for me.
Where did the pole wrestle go wrong for you? I mean, you're a strong guy. I mean, it looks like you have a boxing match coming on. We're going to talk about that later, but it seems like you're a fairly physical guy. Where did pole wrestling go wrong with you?
Yeah, so this is the thing where the experience definitely can come into play. TJ's like, yeah, you're going to do pole wrestle. And I'm like, what's that? What are the rules? So I didn't even know really exactly how to do a pole wrestle. So they're explaining the rules. I mean, Kyle, he's a whiz at this. He's done it many times. And he's pretty good. So I know he had a game plan in place. Me, I learned what a pole wrestle was, and I had no strategy in mind. I was like, I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to overpower him. I'm going to rip the pole out of his hand. Like, just going to go in, attack, and get out. And that's what hurt me. I think watching the episode, you could definitely see that I was kind of the more powerful dude. Like, I was able to get him and just smash him against the ground. And I think that took a lot of energy out of me, where I was like, you know what? I just got to rip this thing out of his hands right away, like end it fast. But he was just holding on for dear life, weathering the storm, letting me get tired out. And at that time, most of my training before that was all just weightlifting. So I was a strong guy, but my endurance wasn't the best. So after a while of just bashing him, not being able to get that pole out of his hands, I tired out pretty quick, and he was able to turn it around. Now, obviously, with my boxing, I've been switching up the training, and my cardio is 1,000 times better than it was before. So I think going in now, even if I was new, I would have had a much better shot, just being able to last a lot longer. But I tired myself out picking him up and trying to slam him against the ground. Definitely not the smartest thing to do.
Now, if you had beaten Kyle, were you going to go back to your Sapphire team, or were you considering going to Ruby or Emerald?
I think I was talking around to a couple of the other teams, and going into it, I had planned to go back to Sapphire. That was my plan. I really liked the Sapphire squad. I think we had a good team. Obviously, we had 2 champs on that team. We had CT, Ashley. But all around, I thought we were a pretty solid team. And I'm surprised that, Emerald was able to pull out the 2 wins that they did. I thought for sure that I knew our time was coming on Sapphire. Like, we were definitely a powerhouse team, like I said, but it's tough to say. Like, my plan was to go back to Sapphire, but in that moment, if I would have won, maybe I would have went for Emerald. I don't know. It's tough to say. You never really know until it happens, so.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, I think I know your answer here, Ed, but do you want to return to the challenge?
Oh, hell yes.
Now, and with your boxing training, are you gonna keep that up? To keep that cardio up, to keep that endurance up? Like, is this something that maybe is like a good thing that's happening right now? You're getting ready for this fight with Paulie. We'll get into it in a couple seconds here, but is this like a good thing that you've added to your training regimen that you think will do better for you in the challenge?
Oh yeah, for sure. There were a couple challenges definitely where that would have came into play. I mean, the ones I can think off the top of my head were the Sea Cave one, where we had to swim into the Sea Cave. That one, I somehow pulled it out, ended up winning that one, but my gas tank was on empty when I got to that cave. I don't know how I made it back out of the cave. So just having more endurance in that case would have helped a lot. The other one, when we were in the minefield, crawling under the rope and jumping over the wall, it seems like it was kind of quick sprints, like go here, go there, go here, go there, but that was another one where endurance kind of came into play, and I was starting to really, really get tired on that one. So having that endurance training is huge. Like, now I can run way further, way harder, way longer than I ever could before. So I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life now. I really should have, practiced a little bit more. I got my endurance up before going on to the show. But like I said, I really didn't know what I was getting into. And I think it's not the biggest, strongest guy that's going to win all of these. It's the most well-rounded. So as long as I keep that strength up, as long as I got the endurance, got the cardio, got the puzzle skills, it's the guys that are well-rounded, not the biggest, baddest dude that's going to win.
And how much is that spray tan going to help you now?
The spray tan's I'm going to be so good going on. I mean, like, I can distract everybody with my Greek god, spray tan that I got. It's going to show the separations, the striations way better. I can use it as a tactic to, woo the women, get them, on my side. The men, I mean, everybody's going to want to be Ed, so they're going to want to keep me around just to view that spray tan. I'm going to have somebody spray me down, I guess, every week. So I'm going to have to keep it up now. But yeah, that spray tan is going to help tremendously if I go back for another season.
Now, okay. So you've got this boxing match with a fellow challenge veteran, Paulie Calafiore, main event. So you guys are in the main event of Fight Night 15 Celebrity Net Fights 2. So what's this all about, Ed? Have you ever boxed in your life before? Are you kind of a street fight kind of guy? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, so they reached out to me. I know they did one event before this. I think this is their second event that they're doing.
Yeah.
And they said, Ed, do you want to participate in this reality boxing event? And I'm a real yes man, so I just kind of say yes to everything. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah, boxing, let's do it. I don't have any boxing experience, though. I come from a Taekwondo background that I've done my whole life. Completely different style of fighting, but at least I have some experience, in that realm, being one-on-one against somebody else. But yeah, no, since I found out that I'm going to be stepping in the ring, I actually got real serious with my boxing training. So I joined a gym. I got a coach. I'm going in. I'm kind of a dog. I'm not going to lie. I got a lot of heart and I got a lot of fight. And I can hit hard. I mean, I ain't the biggest guy, as you can see on the challenge. I'm kind of short, but I mean, me and Paulie both are. We're pretty much the same size. So it works out perfect. But I think he ain't going to be ready. I feel like some people think I might be the underdog in this fight, but I don't know. I think come fight day, I'm definitely going to be the bigger, badder dude.
So first of all, I guess, is there any beef between you and Paulie?
Not really. There really isn't any, beef. But I guess now with this fight going on, I guess we're gonna see who's the badder dude. So I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have to go digging around, try and find some stuff that I can uncover about him to get them all riled up.
And last question for you here, Ed. What's your prediction for the fight, man? Call your shot. What's going to happen to Paulie on fight night?
It's tough to say. I think that just knowing the kind of guy he is, I think he's going to come out guns blazing, try and really just attack right off the rip. And I think even in that first round, I mean, I know we're only going 3 rounds. I say only, but when you're fighting, that's a long time. I think even first round, he's going to try and throw a bunch of punches. I think he's going to tire himself out. And I think from, my experience, just boxing in the ring, I got a couple sparring sections under my belt now. You want to throw a lot of punches, but you want to save some gas in that tank. So I think if I can just make it through that initial storm, I think he's going to come out guns blazing and really quickly kind of die out and lose that gas tank. So I think I'll be able to, really lay it on him.
Are you predicting a knockout? Are you going to win by points?
I kind of wanted to go all 3 rounds. I got some heavy hands, so I think if I wanted to, I could definitely end it round 1. But I think I want to go, dance around. I want to make this a fight. I want to see what he's got. I want to show people what I got. So I kind of want to make this, a real fight. Obviously, boxing is a point match. Whoever scores the most points is going to win. But I think I could go for a knockout here. I got some heavy freaking hands. I don't know. I think maybe a 3rd round knockout. I think we'll let it go 3 rounds, and then when it's time, and we're just going to end it. Boom, KO, game over.
All right, Ed. Well, hey, that's all I had for you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time here. Good luck in the boxing match. Hopefully we'll see you on another season of the challenge as well.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.